Well, hello there, Gemini. How are you? It is so good to see you. I'm Mary Sue, and I'm so grateful that you're here. So today we're going to do your mid-May reading. So let's jump into it. Let's see what is on the horizon for you. Chameleon spirit, act as if, okay? Gotta love this energy. This is a little bit about allowing yourself to kind of like step into the energy of what you are wanting as you move forward, and yet has not yet come into your 3D reality. It's like allowing yourself to take on the energy, almost pretending, if you will, that it has already occurred, what you're trying to manifest. The abundance, the joy, the happiness, the new romantic partner, whatever it is. It's allowing yourself to have the energy as if it is already here. Because what it does is it raises your vibration to that higher energy level, right? And even though it hasn't come in yet, you're allowing yourself to step into it. Step into the shoes. Gemini, there's something about you and shoes, because I always get that energy with you. This is understanding, allowing yourself to wear the shoes that you will wear when you're in this higher, okay, whatever it is that you're trying to bring in. You're so close. So it's allowing yourself to say, I can take on that energy, that personality, that vitality, that energy of what it is that you are desiring, because it's like so close. It's like you can taste it, even though it's not showing up in your 3D. Yeah, and in the flow, when you allow yourself to pretend, if you will, okay, you're not being delusional here. This is something that you know is coming to fruition for you. You've worked really hard at it for a very long time. So it's not like you're trying to trick yourself. You're not trying to trick the universe. You're not being delusional. You're just allowing yourself to step into the energy as if it has already occurred. Almost like taking on the daily routines as if this has already occurred. The practices. That there's something about the shoes or the way that you might dress, okay, as if this has already occurred. You know, it comes back, and this message has been coming through a couple of times for some of the readings. Like, you know, back in the 90s, you know, they always said to dress for success, you wanted to dress for the position of your boss, right? You wanted to dress like your boss. You wanted to dress like the people or the people in the position that you wanted, even though you weren't quite there yet, right? You weren't promoted to that position, but to dress as if you were already in that position. In other words, other people then can see you with that kind of persona, even though you may not even be up for promotion yet, right? It may be another year away or something, but you're taking on, you're acting, you're conducting yourself as though you've already gained that promotion, or this new person has come into your life, right? In other words, you're creating the space and the energy for whatever it is that you want in your life. There's something about, I feel like you're trying to keep yourself small or protect your heart, because this is something you really and truly desire. So there's something about not wanting to step into that energy because you don't want to, I think there's something about you don't want it to feel fake. But this is your true authentic self. This is who you are truly authentically becoming. Gemini, you're not trying to become something that isn't in alignment with what your heart truly desires. That's the difference maybe that you need to keep in mind. You're not just faking it, okay? You're actually allowing yourself to take the energy on of your future self now. Wow, powerful. Yeah, freedom. It gives you, when you allow yourself to do this, it gives you the freedom to break away from any of the mindsets, the behaviors, the beliefs that you have about where you are now, right? And your chances of perhaps something new coming into your life. This is the energy of, I heard this once. This is not me. That if you want to attract in a new romantic partner, that you literally need to make space for them in your home, as even if you haven't met this person yet, as if you're saying, I'm inviting you, I'm welcoming you into my home, right? Maybe that means cleaning out a drawer in your bedroom or the bathroom or the closet, having a place for their things. It means that you have to clear something out in order to allow the energy of this person coming in. But it's also about recognizing that when you do that, you're allowing your vibration to be, I'm making space for this person in my life, even though they're not quite yet here, even if you haven't met them. Because then what you're doing is you're saying, I trust that this person is coming into my life. It's allowing yourself to believe that something can happen. Yeah, because you're kind of needing to break a never-ending story, right? This is the cycle of the story that you're telling yourself about romance, or it doesn't have to be romance. It could be your career. It could be starting a new career. It could be moving. It could be creating a new sense of who you are. Jupiter is still in your first house. I'm a Gemini sun, and Jupiter is in our first house until June. The Jupiter in the first house is all about who are you, your identity. How do you want to be recognized by others? How do you want to be remembered? What impact do you want to make on the world? This is you stepping into the energy of, I'm making that impact. I'm doing the things on a daily basis as if that impact is already being made. And here's the thing, you're already making that impact. It's just like allowing yourself to trust, to believe that you are making that impact. This is very much the energy with this card, okay, the never-ending story, where you could have started on a path in the past and then quit right before the finish line. So Gemini, that can sometimes be a Gemini trait. And we can sometimes, Geminis, we can get very excited about different things. We can get distracted by shiny objects, right? Because a lot of times we are seen as the curious zodiac sign, intellectual. We have a lot of multitask and the ability of sharing a multitude of talents and skills with others. Sometimes all of that can create this energy of staying stuck, not sure which one to go with for the long term. So sometimes we can have a lot of plates up in the air. We can be juggling a lot of different things, but we never really take something all the way to the end because we stop short of it, not sure if it's really the right thing. We have all these other plates. And Gemini, usually you can be quite successful at managing a lot of different things. This is you sitting here, present-minded, right? Allowing yourself to follow your heart. What is it that you really and truly want? I feel like for some of you, there has been perhaps an energy of focusing on a specific area of your life. Perhaps your career, perhaps your home, perhaps some passion projects that you've had. But then there's suddenly this energy of recognizing that you're keeping yourself busy. See how the chameleon, all these little parts are kind of like falling off of the chameleon? You're understanding that maybe you have been keeping a lot of plates going, spinning, because you weren't really sure which one is yours to follow through with. And now I feel like you're getting close. You can feel that new romantic partner coming in. You can feel that soul tribe coming in. You can feel success in your career. You can feel abundance on its way. And yet you don't want to, there's almost this energy of breaking a pattern around, I don't want to be confined to one specific path. This is you allowing yourself to say, but what is the benefit of keeping all of these plates up in the air? Well, if you keep all the plates up in the air and you don't really and truly decide what shoes to wear, right? So perhaps let's go back to, dressing for the part that you want. So say you want to be an entrepreneur. Say you want to run your own business. Right now you work for somebody else, but you want to run your own business. But you also, want a new romantic partner in your life. You also want new friends, a new soul tribe to have a community with, right? You also want to travel. You also want to write a book. You also want to create a beautiful garden, okay? So you have all of these different things that you want, but also recognizing there's something about, and there's never really, like, when we talk about time and energy, it is about recognizing, are you scattering yourself so much so that none of the things that you're kind of working on can actually succeed? This is allowing yourself to say, am I scattering myself too thin, and why am I doing that? If you want to be the entrepreneur, would you act, would you have the same daily routines as if you were in a romantic connection, and also a gardener, and also an author, and also fill in the blank, right? It's kind of like recognizing, how can you consolidate? If you want, I'm not saying you can't have what you want or you deserve, but it's allowing yourself to recognize where maybe you're allowing yourself to wear these different hats, but it's kind of like allowing yourself to recognize, where can I corral? That's the word they're using, corral. It's kind of interesting because we have a horse here, and a horse is in a corral. Instead of just running amok, running just free, just running out there and allowing yourself to go where the wind blows, because you have a change in the wind, go where the wind blows. It's allowing yourself to say, what is really prioritizing, maybe? What shoes do I want to wear? Who do I really and truly want to become? And not allowing yourself to think of it as an act of confining yourself or limiting yourself, but also recognizing how when we are trying to do too much, right, we are, in essence, also trying to keep ourselves safe and keep small, because we can't truly succeed in anything if we allow our time and our energy to go running around free and running amok, right? It's a little bit, it's kind of interesting, because I do feel like there is an energy here of allowing yourself to stay in a comfort zone, or allowing yourself to stay safe or stay small, because you don't want to be limited and confined. I get that. But also recognizing, are you on the other end of that spectrum and trying to do so much that you're not necessarily making real progress in any one area of your life? Or maybe you're making progress in one area of your life, but then you're feeling drained and don't have enough time and energy for the other areas of your life. It's something about sitting with yourself and asking yourself, fear. I think there's a little bit of fear of feeling like, if I choose this path, if I choose the path to be an entrepreneur and put my time and energy into that, I'm cutting myself off from other things. So I'm not going to put all my time into being an entrepreneur, because I don't want to cut off these other options that I may have be twirling in the air, these different plates, right? But at the same time, recognizing that means that you're also limiting yourself. I feel like you're perhaps, because that word delusion, and I can totally resonate with this, Gemini, right? That delusion of, well, I want to keep all my options open, but by keeping all of our options open, we don't have the time and energy to go and finish any one thing in our life. So it's allowing yourself to say, hey, if I want to just have all these options open, and that's how you feel, you want to have all these options open, and you don't want to prioritize anything, nothing is more important to me than any other thing, then fine. But if there's something that you're feeling a lack of, right? Like a true lack of. I wish I could really have a true love companion in my life. Understanding if you're not putting time and energy into that, if you're not making room for that person, if your schedule is so busy, you don't even have time to go date, right? Then how can that person come in? You can be saying it to the universe all day long, but it's also about recognizing that you have to allow yourself to also act as if you really and truly want a romantic partner in your life. That means you do have to take some steps forward. If you really and truly want to be a successful entrepreneur, then you have to act like a successful entrepreneur. You have to dress the part. You have to act the part. You have to live the part of a successful entrepreneur. It doesn't mean that you have to do it exactly like everybody else does it. You're going to do it in your own Gemini style, right? So allowing yourself to recognize that maybe what's holding you back. Yeah. Wow, this is a huge transformation. This is a huge transformation. It could have something to do with family. Juggling, trying to juggle the demands, the conditioned beliefs, the mindsets from childhood about what you can and can't have, right? You know, I'm going to say it's not that you can't be a successful entrepreneur and have the romantic partner of your dreams, right? And also have time for the passions that you are wanting in your life. But it's about recognizing that is like a longer term type of energy where you may have to prioritize and work on one area of your life and then say, okay, I got that up, I got that going. It's moving forward very smoothly. Now I can also try to add something else in. Okay, you know that thing where you rub your tummy and you pat your head, right? It's kind of like, one of the things is that it's very hard if you haven't, and I have not done this in a very long time. When I was a teacher, the kids used to always love to do this, right? But if I try to do both at the very same time, unless I have been practicing it, right, it's very hard to do. So think of yourself as teaching a child how to do that. You might get them to first do the circle around the tummy area, right? And then it's kind of like, okay, now add in patting your head, right? I can feel I have to kind of think about this. So it's kind of like allowing yourself to say, yeah, okay, so I'm going to work just on doing circles around my tummy first. I'm going to get really comfortable with that, right? I'm going to get really comfortable as an entrepreneur. I'm going to get my business up, going where it is. I'm going to feel it. I'm going to be it. And then I'll add in the romantic partner, or then I'll add in something else, right? Because I feel like you're working yourself almost to the bone, right? And you're not having any fun at the same time, because there is no time for fun. There is no time for enjoyment. There is and at the same time, I think in the back of your head, you're kind of like, well, I also don't want to confine myself. Yeah, you're just in this energy, 4 of Cups. Ho-hum. Something's got to change. I have to learn from this situation. I have to allow myself to see. I think that, we had the full moon in Scorpio on Monday on the 12th. This is almost the energy of that full moon in Scorpio, and it'll be with us for a little while because that is an intense full moon of the emotions, of what's coming up. What are you disappointed about in your life? And it's a little bit about taking accountability. Are you stepping into acting as if that is really a priority in your life? Or are you allowing yourself to get distracted by other things that really aren't quite as important, right? Yeah, 2 of Cups, Hierophant. This is looking at the beliefs of how you think. I feel like this is something about romantic relationships, okay? Whether you're in one or you're desiring to have one, right? There's something here about the traditional way of looking at relationships and understanding that you're kind of living from an old paradigm or those conditioned beliefs, okay? Hierophant, conditioned beliefs around romantic connections and what they mean and the time and the energy. And you could have been in a long-term committed relationship that was very draining, where that was the focus of your life. But you're kind of like in this new stage of life, perhaps, where it's kind of like, I want a romantic partner, but I'm not necessarily wanting the same type of relationship that I had in the past, because you've grown, you've evolved, you've progressed. And so I don't want the same thing, but it's hard to break. It's hard to teach old dogs new tricks, right? It is that energy of allowing yourself to say, well, this new type of relationship or this new way of doing my job, my life is going to be different. So I have to allow myself to really practice creating that energy in my life before this all starts coming into place. You can't be living with the old paradigm, the old belief systems of how life is supposed to be. It's almost like I think you've moved out of that. You're ready for new, obviously, right? But it's kind of like there's something within you that you have to allow yourself to break free from. There's almost this energy, well, if I allow love back into my life, this is something, if you're saying, I want love, but love's not coming in quite yet, it's allowing yourself to say, well, what am I defending about love? What I want about love, what I don't want, what works for me, what doesn't work for me, what do I believe about love? Do I believe that love hurts? Because we have the Family and the 5 of Pentacles. Do I believe that I'm not worthy of love? What is it that you believe about love? This is you with the full moon and Scorpio energy, sitting and listening, I think, to your inner child. What does love mean to you? Perhaps in the past, love meant serving the other people in your life, helping them with their life, right? You doing for them, but perhaps never receiving from them. This is you allowing yourself to say, what is it that I really and truly, what does being in a loving relationship mean? What does it look like? Can I act like that now before it even comes in? Can I take on the energy of that? And the 7 of Wands is about boundaries, healthy boundaries. Perhaps in the past, you felt like having healthy boundaries was selfish. Excuse me. That having boundaries meant that you weren't doing enough for the people that you love, whether that was your family or romantic relationships or children. Now you're understanding, no, I've learned from that love isn't just giving, but that love is also about receiving and allowing other people to love me. Yeah, I feel like you're overcoming any, I feel like you've been working on this for a very long time, but it is about allowing yourself to redefine, allowing yourself to sit and redefine what love really is for you now that you've gone on your healing journey. And then really moving forward, living that. And asking yourself, are there parts of you that still either need to be healed, or is it time to allow these older parts of you to drop away, right? The older beliefs around relationships and love. Yeah, there is the energy of perhaps someone coming back, and this could be family, okay? Somebody coming back wanting to have another round, okay? Could be a twin flame, does not have to be, okay? But Four of Wands, Ace of Cups, wanting, here's the thing, it's about doing it differently. If this person, whether it's a romantic connection, a child of yours, a family member, a friend that is coming back, wanting a different experience in love, right? It's you also recognizing you want a different experience in love. Actually, I think you do. It's about allowing yourself to act. You have to, okay, here's the thing. When and if this person reaches out, it's about really being in your new energy. Not allowing yourself to fall back into an older version of yourself. Archangel Michael is here, right? It's the Wheel of Fortune. Things are healing. Whatever this situation is, I feel like there is healing. Healing can come in, but it is about allowing yourself to really take on the energy of the healed version, future version of yourself in this situation, right? Because I feel like you're kind of like, I don't want more drama, right? And I think that that's a good thing. Like, you're going to understand, I don't want drama. There's something about transforming. We have Scorpio energy here with the transformation card. Full moon in Scorpio. Yes. Yeah, I feel like there's something here about understanding. So funny, because the collective reading yesterday was kind of similar. Understanding that you are an independent individual. 9 of Pentacles. You have your freedom, and yet at the same time, you are connected energetically to other people, whether they're actually in your life at this time or not, right? This can be past loved ones. This can be your ancestors. This can be people that are still alive, but you're separated from at this time. It's allowing yourself to say, where do I end? This is all about boundaries. Where do I end and where do they begin? I feel like there's something here too about understanding you are not what you do or what you do for these people. That could be the old mindset that you maybe grew up with, right? Right? I can totally understand, like when I grew up, right? It was all about, like, probably if my parents, were asked to described me, right? They probably would have talked about what grades I got, right? What after school activities I had, I'm not sure, okay? And I love my parents dearly. So it's kind of like, I'm not sure that when I grew up, people really and truly, I could be totally delusional, but that a lot of parents, right, of the generation when I grew up, it was all about what you were doing and putting out into the world, right? Your grades, your after school activities, if you got in trouble at school or not, were you a good girl, a good boy, right? And the definitions of that, the Hierophant, right? It's almost as though you're trying to hold on to those old definitions because they're just so ingrained. And yet I think you have understood now that there is more to you than what you do. What would you say about yourself? How would you describe yourself now, right? Would you describe yourself by what you do or do for other people? Or would you have other definitions for yourself? Maybe you're funny, you're creative, you're loving, you're caring about the environment, you care about other people, you're empathic, you enjoy the arts, you enjoy spending time in nature, right? It's about allowing yourself to redefine who you are rather by who you really and truly are rather than by what you do. And I feel as though that is exactly what you are kind of allowing yourself to step into. You've been doing that, but it's about allowing yourself to start dressing the part of being someone who truly loves themselves for who they are, not based on just what you do. Because when we define ourselves by what we do, Gemini, right, we fall prey into doing a lot. I don't know any Geminis that really like just sit around and don't do much, right? I mean, I think we all have those times probably, but it's like a rainy day. I love to just sit. But we usually have several projects going, lots of, either people that we're acquaintances with, but maybe we don't have any deep relationships, right? Allowing yourself to say, how am I keeping myself, right? How am I helping myself to prevent myself from going deep in anything? Whether it's a relationship, your career, your business, your dreams for yourself. How are you preventing yourself by doing that? And perhaps it goes back to childhood where it was all about doing. What are you doing? What are you doing, Gemini? Right? I remember as a kid, I could be sitting there, right, reading a book or something, and one of my parents would walk in. What are you doing? Well, I'm reading a book. What else could you be doing? Cleaning my room, right? Allowing yourself to say, yes, I've transformed. I don't have to be doing, and I definitely don't have to be doing just to be doing, to be proving some point, right? To prove that I'm a good boy or a good girl, or that, I'm paying my way, or whatever it is. It's allowing yourself to say, yes, there is quality when we allow ourselves to be present, to sit and listen to our own heart, to our own intuition, to our spirit guides, to our angels. We don't have to be doing anything productive, because that in itself is productive when we allow ourselves to be with ourselves instead of feeling like we have to run around proving ourselves, right, in some way by staying busy. Really kind of interesting. I can totally relate. It's kind of like allowing yourself to recognize how you are your own person, and yet how you are connected to others at the same time. That takes a lot of strength and courage to allow yourself to be with yourself, to care for yourself, nurture yourself, right? Enjoy being with yourself. And then at the same time, also allowing yourself to use your skills, your talents, your creative abilities, your spiritual gifts to help others. But it's okay to also spend time with yourself. You don't have to be productive all the time. Okay, let's pull a chakra card for you. Let's see what's going on here. Yeah, gossip. Okay, so I don't feel like you're gossiping. I feel like this is the energy of feeling like other people are talking about you. This could be family members, this could be friends, this could be, maybe you have a YouTube channel, or whatever. It's kind of like, I think you're kind of concerned about what other people may say about what you are doing. Okay, so it's allowing yourself to ask, are you hedging who you really are because you're concerned about, because we do have the 5 of Wands here. Where's the 5 of Wands? Yeah, the 5 of Wands here. Allowing yourself to recognize that the drama card, right? We have the drama card here. Allowing yourself to recognize how you could be trying to prevent the drama in your life, what other people are kind of saying about you or getting caught up in the drama or whatever it is. It's allowing yourself to say, no, wait a minute. I'm my own person. I can do things my way. I don't have to follow the crowd. I don't have to worry, if you will, about what other people are saying. I can do my own thing, right? And I can also be, okay, here's the thing, is that when we allow ourselves to get caught up in the mindset of what other people could be saying about us, right? Then there's toxic energy with the way that we connect to others. This is you allowing yourself to be who you are, right? Stepping into who you really truly are and not allowing yourself to be distorted by the fears of what others may think. I love that energy because I feel like it is kind of, we kind of live in that cancel society right now. It is hard to, look, Page of Swords, to speak your truth, but to also understand that you can speak your truth from a loving point of view. You don't have to get on a soapbox. You don't have to preach, right? You're just living it. You're acting it. You're living it. You're inspiring others to do the same. And to be honest, I feel like the gossip comes because when you really and truly act and take on the energy of who you're trying to become, people start talking about you, but that in a good way. In a good way. Because you're living. You're not just talking your talk, you're walking your talk. Wow, powerful. Okay, so Gemini, let's pull a soul truth card for you for some final advice. And I do personal readings, so if you're interested, the link is in the description box below. I'd really be honored to do a reading for you. Yeah, oh my goodness. What boundaries need to be created or strengthened within my relationships? I think that's, that all comes back to this, right? The boundaries. Where you end and where others begin, right? You are connected to other people energetically, whether they're in your life or not. I'll put that collective reading at the end of this video because it's coming out in this reading again about recognizing where you end and where others begin. It's not about running around and trying to make everybody in your life happy because you're afraid that they're going to say things behind your back, right? It's allowing yourself to break free of those old traditional ways, okay? Well, this is the way we've always done it, so we have to continue doing it that way. And allowing yourself to say, I've transformed from that. That's not the way I see things anymore, right? And that's not how I'm living anymore. I'm speaking your truth, but doing in a loving way. Standing up for yourself. And living the life that you really and truly desire. Yeah. It's all about walking your talk. All right, Gemini, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for being here. I really and truly appreciate it. And I appreciate all your support by liking, commenting, and subscribing. And I hope to see you again really soon. Much love and light. Bye for now.